What I am about to tell you in the next few minutes will change the way you see every woman in your life. Your ex, the woman you like right now, the woman who confused you, the one who walked away, the one who said she loved you but then acted like you didn't matter. Once you know this one truth about female psychology, a truth that took me years to understand, you will never be confused again, you will never lose again. Stay with me, this might be the most important thing you ever hear about women. Let me tell you about Marcus. Marcus was 29 years old, he worked hard, he was kind. He was the kind of man that any mother would be proud of. He called when he said he would call, he showed up early, he paid for dinners. He remembered her favorite color. He wrote her long messages about how much she meant to him. And the woman he loved, we'll call her Priya, left him for a man who barely texted her back. Marcus sat across from me one evening, eyes red, voice breaking. He said something I will never forget. I did everything right. I gave her everything I had. Why wasn't I enough? And that question, that painful, honest question, is the reason I made this video music today, because Marcus is not alone. Thousands of men are asking that exact same question right now. Lying in dark rooms, staring at their phone screens, replaying conversations, wondering what they did wrong, wondering why being a good man didn't protect them from losing. And the answer is not what most people will tell you. It is not about being less nice. It is not about playing games. It is not about pretending you don't care. It is about understanding something deep inside female psychology that almost nobody talks about openly. Something that operates quietly underneath every word a woman says, underneath every choice she makes, underneath every relationship she builds or walks away from. And once you understand it, truly understand it, you will never look at women the same way again. Here is the truth that changes everything. Women do not fall in love with what you do for them. They fall in love with how you make them feel about themselves. Read that again. Let it sink in. Not what you provide, not how many dinners you pay for, not how many kind texts, music you send, not how reliable, how stable, how good-looking, or how successful you are, how she feels about herself when she is with you. This is not a manipulation trick. This is not a dating tactic. This is a deep truth rooted in the way human emotion and psychology actually work. And when you understand it at a deep level, everything else, her behavior, her choices, her tests, her mixed signals, all of it starts to make perfect sense. Think about it from her side for a moment. When a woman is with a man who constantly needs her approval, who texts too much, who cancels his plans for her, who changes his opinions to match hers, who shrinks himself to keep her happy. How does she feel? She feels suffocated. She feels bored. She feels like she is carrying dead weight. She feels responsible for his happiness, and that weight becomes unbearable. She does not feel desired. She feels needed. And being needed by a man who has made her his whole world does not make a woman feel powerful or beautiful. It makes her feel trapped. But when a woman is with a man who has his own direction, who has standards, who can walk away, who makes her feel like she has to bring something to the table too, she feels something very different. She feels alive. She feels chosen. She feels like she earned something. And that feeling, that electric, heart-racing feeling of being chosen by a man who did not have to choose her, that is what women call love. Now I want to tell you about a pattern I have seen over and over again, and it is painful every single time. Good men, kind, honest, generous men fall into what I call the proving trap. The proving trap works like this. He meets a woman he really likes. She is different. She is special. So he decides to prove it to her. He proves how much he cares. He proves how reliable he is. He proves he is not like other men. He proves and proves and proves. Every morning text is proof. Every favor he does is proof. Every time he drops his plans to see her is proof. Every time he says yes when he wants to say no is proof. And slowly, without meaning to, he trains her brain to see him as low value. Because here is what her brain is really registering. This man will always be there no matter what I do. There is no risk of losing him. There is no challenge. There is no excitement. And once her brain decides that no amount of kindness, no amount of dinners, no amount of love messages will reverse it, he ends up in the friend zone, or worse. She stays with him out of habit and convenience. But that fire is never really there. Not really. I had a client who came to me after a 5-year relationship ended. His girlfriend told him she loved him but was not in love with him. He was devastated. He asked me what had gone wrong. When we talked through everything, the picture became very clear. For 5 years, he had been in full proving mode. He had canceled gym sessions to be with her. He had turned down job opportunities in other cities because he was afraid she might leave. He had changed his friend group to match hers. He had slowly, piece by piece, traded his identity away, all trying to make her feel secure. And instead of feeling secure, she felt like she was dating a man with no spine. Not because he was weak. He was actually a very strong, capable man, but he had buried that man under layers of people-pleasing. That story broke my heart because he had genuinely loved her, and he lost her not by being bad, but by trying too hard to be good. So what does a woman actually respond to at a deep emotional level? Let me break it down simply. First, she responds to a man with a purpose bigger than her. A man who wakes up every morning and knows what he is building. A man who has goals that existed before she came into his life. A man who is not waiting for her approval to feel good about himself. That kind of man is magnetic not because he is arrogant, but because he is complete. And a complete man is one of the rarest, most attractive things in the world. Second, she responds to a man with emotional control. Not a man who is cold or unfailing, but a man who does not crumble under pressure. A man who stays calm when she is emotional. A man who can hold steady when she tests him, and she will test him. Not because she is cruel, but because her deepest fear is attaching herself to a man who will break when real life gets hard. The tests are her way of asking, are you really who you seem to be? A man who passes those tests not by being mean, but by staying grounded signals something powerful. He says without words, I can protect you, I can lead. I will not fall apart. Third, she responds to a man who values himself, a man with standards, a man who will say no when something does not feel right, a man who does not chase, a man who does not beg, a man who does not twist himself into whatever shape she needs just to keep her around. Because when a man values himself, it tells a woman something important. If he values himself this much and he chooses me, then I must be something special. That is the feeling, that is the thing she cannot stop thinking about, the man she keeps going back to, the man she tells her friends about, the man who stays in her mind long after the conversation ends. He is always a man who made her feel like she had to earn something. Let me talk about something that causes men enormous pain, mixed signals. She is warm one day and cold the next. She wants you close and then pulls away. She says she is not ready for a relationship and then gets jealous when she sees you talking to someone else. She tells you she just wants to be friends and then kisses you. Men see this and think she is confused. She does not know what she wants, but that is not what is happening. What is actually happening is a war inside her between her emotional brain and her logical brain. Her logical brain looks at you and makes a checklist. Is he stable? Yes. Is he kind? Yes. Does he treat me well? Yes. Would my family approve? Yes. Her logical brain gives you a perfect score, but her emotional brain, the part that actually controls who she falls for, is asking a different question. It is not asking, is he good for me? It is asking, does being with him make me feel alive? And when a man has made himself too available, too eager, too safe, the answer her emotional brain gives is no. Not because he is bad, just because there is no spark, no uncertainty, no edge. The mixed signals are her two brains arguing with each other. She knows she should want you. She does not feel like she does, and she cannot understand why, so she sends mixed signals, and that knowledge alone is power. Because once you understand this, you stop taking mixed signals personally. You stop spiraling. You stop begging. You stop flooding her inbox with questions. You understand what is actually happening, and you know what needs to change. I had a client, a quiet, gentle man, someone you would immediately like if you met him. He came to me after being rejected by the same woman 3 times over 2 years. She always said the same thing. I care about you, but I don't feel that way. We worked together for about 3 months, not on how to act around her, on him, on his identity, on his purpose, on what he wanted from life, on his standards, on his boundaries. He stopped texting her constantly. He started working on a business idea he had been putting off for years. He got back into the gym. He started saying no to things that did not serve him. He stopped asking her permission to feel good about himself. 6 weeks later, she called him. She said she could not stop thinking about him. She said something had changed. She could feel it somehow. Even though she had barely seen him, she said she wanted to try. Now I am not telling you that story so you go and ignore every woman hoping she will come running back. That is not the lesson. The lesson is this. He did not change for her. He changed for himself. And that shift, that real genuine shift in how he carried himself, how he saw himself, what he was building, that is what she felt. Not a trick, not a tactic, a real transformation. That is what female psychology responds to at the deepest level. Genuine strength, real direction, authentic confidence. Let me say something important that men almost never hear. Women are not the enemy. Every woman who ever sent you mixed signals, whoever pulled away, whoever said, "I love you, but I'm not in love with you." She was not trying to hurt you. Most of the time, she was just as confused as you were. Because here is the thing about female psychology that almost nobody talks about. Women are deeply afraid, too. They are afraid of picking the wrong man. They are afraid of giving their heart fully and then being abandoned. They are afraid of falling in love with someone music who turns out to be different from who they thought. They're afraid of being used. They're afraid of being alone. They're afraid of choosing safety and then spending their lives wondering what passion would have felt like. That fear is real. Music, it runs deep and it drives so much of their behavior. The tests are not cruelty. They are fear speaking. The mixed signals are not games. They are fear and desire fighting each other. The walls she puts up are not rejection. They are protection. And when you understand that, when you stop seeing women as confusing and start seeing them as deeply human, deeply feeling, deeply afraid, something shifts in you. You stop reacting to their behavior from a place of hurt. You start responding from a place of understanding. And that understanding, that is what separates the man she walks away from and the man she walks toward. So let's make this practical. Here is what changes when you truly understand female psychology. You stop chasing approval. Every time you do something, hoping she will approve, hoping she will text back faster, hoping she will smile at you differently, you weaken music, yourself. Approval seeking is the fastest way to kill attraction. Instead, do what you do because it aligns with who you are. You build a life she wants to be part of, not a life designed around her. A life that is full and rich, an exciting one where she feels lucky to have a front row seat. You hold your frame when she tests you. When she says something sharp, when she pushes back, when she goes cold, you do not collapse. You do not chase, you do not beg, you stay steady. That steadiness, that groundedness is more attractive than any line you could ever say. You stop being endlessly available. It is not about playing hard to get. It is about actually having a life that matters to you. Have things you will not cancel. Have goals that come first. Have standards you will not bend. Not to seem busy, but because you genuinely are someone who takes his life seriously. You lead not by controlling or dominating, but by making decisions, setting direction, taking responsibility. A man who leads does not ask, "What do you want to do tonight?" He makes a plan. He takes charge. He owns the outcome. That simple act of leading creates a sense of safety and excitement at the same time. She feels like she can relax. She feels like she is with someone who knows where he is going. You protect your energy. Every woman can sense when a man is emotionally weak. Not because he cries or shows emotion, but because he makes her the source of his entire emotional life. When you put your emotional well-being in her hands, it is not romantic. It is a burden. Take responsibility for your own happiness first. Here is the thing I want you to really hear before this video ends. Everything I just described, the purpose, the standards, the emotional control, the groundedness, the refusal to chase approval, none of that is just about attracting women. It is about becoming a man you respect. Because the men who are most attractive to women are not attractive because they are trying to be. They are attractive because they have decided to take their own lives seriously. They have decided that who they are matters. They have decided they will not shrink. They will not beg. They will not wait for someone else to validate their worth. And when you become that man, not as a strategy, but as a genuine way of living, something incredible happens. You stop losing, not because women never leave you. They might. People come and go. You stop losing because you stop defining yourself by whether she stays. A man who knows his worth does not fall apart when a woman walks away. He grieves, yes, he feels it. Yes, he is human, but he does not crumble. He does not beg. He does not transform himself into something unrecognizable just to keep someone who is already leaving. He knows at the deepest level that he is enough. Not perfect, just enough. And that quiet certainty, that is the most powerful thing any man can carry. I want to take a moment here, just a moment for the man watching this who is in pain right now. Maybe you just got out of a relationship. Maybe she just told you she does not feel the same way. Maybe you have been alone for a long time and you cannot figure out why. Maybe you did everything you thought you were supposed to do and it still was not enough. I want you to hear this. You are not broken. You were not taught the right things. Nobody sat you down and explained how female psychology actually works. Society gave you a fairy tale. Be kind enough, be patient enough. Love her hard enough and she will love you back. And that fairy tale failed you. Not because you were a failure, because it was never the full truth. I had a client, I think about him often, who told me that the most painful part was not being rejected. It was being rejected after doing everything right. He said, "I followed all the rules and still lost." That broke me more than anything, and what I told him then, I want to say to you now: you were not playing the wrong game. You were playing by the wrong rules. Now you know the real rules, and knowing them is not the end of vulnerability. It is not the end of love. It is not the end of caring deeply. It is just the beginning of a new way to show up. A way that is true to who you really are. You do not have to be someone else. You do not have to be cold or hard or distant. You just have to be someone you believe in. And once you believe in yourself fully, honestly, without needing her to confirm it, everything changes. You will carry yourself differently. You will speak differently. You will make decisions differently. And women will feel the difference even before you say a word. If this video hit you somewhere deep, if something in here cracked something open, I need you to do two things right now. First, hit that like button. Not for me. For every man who needed to hear this and has not found it yet. Your like helps this reach them. And some of them are sitting in a very dark place tonight wondering what is wrong with them. Your one click could change a man's life. Second, subscribe and hit the bell, because what I just shared with you is only the beginning. Every single week, I go deeper into the patterns women follow, into the mistakes good men make, into the real psychology of attraction. Love and identity. This channel exists for men who are done being confused. Men who are ready to understand and win, not by becoming someone cold and calculating, but by becoming the strongest, most grounded version of who they already are. And if there is a man in your life who is hurting right now, a friend, a brother, someone you know who is lost in a relationship or getting over a heartbreak, share this video with him right now. Not tomorrow. Now be the reason he gets the truth he needs. Remember what you learned today. She does not choose the man who does the most for her. She chooses the man who makes her feel the most alive. Become that man, not for her, for yourself. And you will never lose again. I will see you in the next.